are talking about what? Chemical substances. So chemical bonding gets to involve atoms. So each time we are talking about an atom, you need to understand that this is a smallest particle that can take part in a chemical reaction. That is an atom. So when we say that chemical bonding, we are now talking about what? We are now talking about the transferring. So we are talking about the transferring and sharing. So this is the transferring and sharing of electrons. So the transferring and sharing of electrons between what? Between atoms is what we call chemical bonding. Between what? Between atoms. So when this transferring and sharing of electrons happens, we get to form what we call a bond. So we are going to form a what? We are going to form a bond. Have you seen? I think you are able to relate. Chemical bonding. So chemical bonding is the sharing and transferring of electrons between atoms to form bonds. These bonds are what we get to call them forces of attraction. In other words, a bond is a force of what? A force of attraction. So it is just a force of attraction. So if I tell you what is a bond, you must be able to tell me that a bond is a force of attraction. So a bond is just a force of attraction that gets to exist between what? Atoms. So before I even continue with this, there is something that you need to know and remember. So you get to understand that metals, for metals to be stable, so when we are talking about stability here, for metals to be stable, they get to lose electrons. So losing electrons makes them to be positively charged. But non-metals gain electrons. Once they gain electrons, they become negatively charged. So metals are positively charged, while non-metals are negatively charged. This is something that I want you to know and understand. So before we even continue with this, you need to know the reason why metals or non-metals involve themselves in bonding is so that they can be stable. You now discover that group 8 elements or elements from group O don't involve themselves in bonding. Why? Because they are stable. Their outermost shell is full to the point that it does not need any extra electron to give out or to gain. They are stable. You now discover that those that get to have 2 electrons, these are noble gases or inert gases. So those that get to have 2 electrons in their outermost shell get to obey a law that we call Joubrecht's law. These ones that get to have 2 electrons in their outermost shell. I guess you are able to get this, and I believe you are able to understand. Those ones that get to have 8 electrons, they get to obey what we call octet. So octet rule. This is what you need to know and understand. These ones get to have 8 what? 8 electrons. I guess you are getting the point here. We are moving together, isn't it? I guess you are able to understand everything that I'm sharing with you. So now, the reason why metals and non-metals involve themselves in bonding is so that they can be stable. So they get to lose electrons, gain electrons, so that they can be what? They can be stable. So you now discover that we've got types of what? We've got types of bonding. So we've got types of what? Types of bonding. Since this is our lesson 1, so I'll just major on one type. I'll just talk about one type of bonding, and in my next lesson, I'm going to talk about another type of bonding, and in my other lesson, which happens to be my lesson 3, I'm going to finish bonding. So the first one that you are supposed to know is what we call, so this one we get to call it what? Covalent bonding. It is called covalent bonding. This is what you need to know and understand. It is called covalent bonding. So covalent bonding is a certain type of bonding that gets to exist between what? Non-metals. So this one gets to exist between non-metals. So a kind of bonding that gets to exist between non-metals is what we call covalent bonding. We also have what we get to call ionic bonding. I guess you are able to see ionic what? Ionic bonding. So whenever we are talking about ionic bonding, this is a type of bonding that gets to exist between what? A non-metal and a metal. So this is to tell you that if a metal reacts with a non-metal, a compound that is formed is called an ionic compound. I guess you know what a compound is, because chemistry is very sensitive, and each word that you get to use, you need to know its definition. I've used compound, so you need to know what a compound is. So we believe and we know that a compound is a chemical combination between a chemical combination of one or two substances. Chemical combination. A mixture, physical combination. Element is a substance made up of one type of material that cannot be split, either by chemical means or physical means. So I guess you are understanding this, you are able to get what I'm talking about. So this is just lesson 1, introduction to chemical bonding. So I just want to give you these 3 types of bonding so that even as we get to explain them like that, you already have the foundation. So this is lesson 1. We are yet to go deeper than this. So we now go to the last one. This one is called what? This one is called metallic bonding. So this one gets to exist between what? Between metals. This is what you need to understand. So now, non-metals, these ones that are called non-metals, you need to understand that when non-metals react together, they get to form a compound. We are calling what? This one is called, have you seen, a covalent bond. So we are going to form a covalent bond. But if a metal and a non-metal reacts together, they form a compound we are calling an ionic bond or an ionic compound. So O-level chemistry, these are the 3 types of bonding that you need to understand. So in my other lesson, I guess you stay connected. I'm going to be teaching on these types of bonding. I'll be explaining them in details so that you get to understand what I will be talking about. So this is just an introduction. I'm going to explain more on these things. I'm going to teach you a lot of things that you are supposed to know and understand. This is an interesting topic. I guess you've learned 1 or 2 things. So those of you that wants to join my online lessons, I get to conduct them via Telegram. So if one wants to join, they need to download Telegram. Once you download Telegram, you open up an account just like WhatsApp. So I'm explaining this because I believe most of the people are not on Telegram. So you download Telegram, that's an application. Once you download it, you open up an account, you put your number there, your country like that, then they're going to send you a code. You put it there, then it opens. You get to WhatsApp me on my number. You WhatsApp me or you send a text on Telegram, just there on Telegram. This is the same number that I get to use on Telegram or WhatsApp. This is 0971 066747. See you in my other lesson. So I was just introducing this particular topic. Thank you so much.